I've been a truck driver for many years, and in my long career, I've seen all kinds of things. But what happened to me on that one trip changed me forever. Now I pray before every journey. There was a time when I just jumped behind the wheel without a second thought, never even considered praying. But after what I witnessed, my whole life turned upside down. This is my worst story as a long-haul driver. Let me be clear. I never believed in the supernatural. The unknown was beyond my comprehension. But against my will, I became part of something impossible. It happened when I was driving through the Altai Mountains. The full moon bathed the starry sky in silver light. The night was so bright I could see for miles. I should mention, I've never been afraid of the dark. My truck had excellent headlights, high beams included. That night, my only worry was that I'd already been driving for 3 straight days. The energy drinks I'd chugged earlier were wearing off. I was dead tired. The same thought kept looping in my head, just a little farther. Then I can sleep. Tomorrow, a sauna, some vodka, maybe some fish. But something else nagged at me, something small at first. For 3 hours, I hadn't seen a single car. No vehicles, no hitchhikers. I told myself it was just late. Most people were asleep in their homes or roadside motels. I turned on the radio, and out of the corner of my eye, I caught movement in the mirror. I rolled down the window and looked outside, and what I saw terrified me. Running alongside my truck, just a few meters away, was a creature that vaguely resembled a dog. But if you considered its size, it was far larger than any dog should be. This thing was massive, bigger than a horse, and it was keeping pace with me at 60 kilometers per hour. It was impossible. My first thought was that I'd fallen asleep at the wheel, but I pinched myself. I was wide awake. I slammed the gas pedal. The speedometer climbed another 20 kilometers per hour, but the creature didn't fall behind. It matched my speed effortlessly. Adrenaline burned through my veins. I couldn't believe this was real. A monstrous black hound, impossibly huge, sprinting beside a truck, going breakneck speeds. How could this even happen? Then, just as I hoped, I spotted the lights of a small town ahead, the place I was desperate to reach. But my relief came too soon. What happened next sent me into full-blown shock. The creature closed in, now just a meter away from my cab. I yanked the window up and floored the accelerator, but speed clearly meant nothing to this thing. A chill ran down my spine when it turned its head toward me. Its eyes, deep, endless voids, locked onto mine. It saw me, not just looked at me. It understood me. This was no mindless beast. It was intelligent, aware. It knew things. Even when I pushed past 100 kilometers per hour, it kept pace. It only fell back when I passed the town limits sign. I pulled over at a 24-hour convenience store, stumbling out of the cab with a cigarette between my teeth, trying to make sense of what I'd just seen. I convinced myself it was exhaustion. This couldn't have happened. I must be hallucinating. Maybe I need to see a psychiatrist. I walked into the store and saw a pretty cashier behind the counter. She stood there, smiling, completely still. Then I realized the store was empty. No customers, not even a security guard, and she wasn't moving. Another realization hit me. I hadn't heard the door chime when I entered. No sound at all. My whole body trembled. I stood frozen, scanning the room. Then suddenly something shifted. The girl's voice broke the silence. "Are you feeling all right?" Almost immediately, a group of drunk teenagers burst in, laughing and shouting for more beer. A security guard emerged from the back. A few more customers wandered in. Just like that, everything was normal again. I never fully understood what happened to me that night, but I realized one thing. When a man is pushed to his limit, when he's hanging by a thread between worlds, something watches. When I finally reached my destination, I collapsed into bed. The next morning I knew I'd had one foot in the afterlife that night. Something had spared me, guided me safely to my stop. Now I believe that creature, that hound, was no animal. It was death's messenger, waiting for me to make a mistake, to crash and die, because in that state, it could have happened at any moment. I've been hauling freight across America for 25 years, from California to Maine. But that run down Arizona's Highway 666, what old-timers still call the Devil's Road, left me with a fear I can't shake. It was past midnight when I took that lonely stretch between Albuquerque and Phoenix. The desert air was dead still, no wind, no other vehicles, just endless scrubland glowing under a full moon. I'd been fighting sleep after 2 Monster energy drinks when I first saw her. At first, just a shadow near a roadside cactus, a tall figure too thin to be human. Then she appeared closer. When I checked my side mirror, my blood turned to ice. She was keeping pace with my rig, those impossibly long legs covering ground in unnatural strides, not running, gliding. Her face stayed shadowed, but I felt her watching me. I floored it. The speedometer hit 85 miles per hour, but she didn't fall back. Then the radio crackled to life with a whisper. Stop. Stop. At the next gas station in Holbrook, the bartender turned pale when I described her. You're not the first to see her, he said, pouring me whiskey with shaking hands. They say she's a hitchhiker, killed here in '78, still waiting for her ride home. I take the long way around now.
The tires hummed against wet asphalt as I entered the Lurdle Tunnel's gaping mouth. 18-wheelers echo strangely in there, like you're driving through the ribcage of some enormous beast. My headlights barely pierced the gloom, those sickly yellow emergency lights reflecting off condensation dripping from the ceiling. I checked my watch at the 15-minute mark. That's when I noticed the air had changed. Too thick, too stale, like the tunnel wasn't ventilating anymore. My GPS flickered, then died completely. The digital clock on my dash started counting backward. That's when I saw the Volvo. It shouldn't have been there. No breakdown lanes in this section. The truck looked decades old, its blue paint peeling like dead skin. The driver's face pressed against the windshield, mouth open in a silent scream. His hands clawed at the glass, leaving dark streaks. I stomped the accelerator. The tunnel walls began to bleed. Not water, something thicker, darker, with a coppery smell that made my stomach lurch. My speedometer needle trembled at 110 kilometers an hour, but the exit wouldn't come. The Volvo's headlights flared to life in my rear view, gaining fast. When I finally saw daylight, I sobbed with relief. Until I read the sign, Velkommen til Svartheim, my blood turned to ice. That's Old Norse for welcome to the black world. The radio crackled, turn back or become one of us. The voice wasn't human. It clicked and gurgled like a drowning man. I reversed so fast my trailer nearly jackknifed. The Volvo was waiting, its cab now empty, except for a single work boot filled with black water. This time, when I emerged, the Norwegian flags looked right. But my logbook now showed an extra 8 hours of drive time I couldn't account for.
The toll booth attendant wouldn't meet my eyes. You're lucky, he muttered, handing me a St. Christopher medal. Last driver who saw the Volvo. We found his truck idling in here, with the engine cold.